Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Today, we're going to talk about safety in America because it's definitely getting bad. We're going to talk about the poor Ukrainian woman that got knifed in a bus because she just decided she was going to come home after work. Yep. This is the stuff Americans have to deal with. You live in a big city, you're not safe. Okay. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. You're not safe. Okay. Whether you're in a gathering or by yourself, you got to have your eyes peeled all the time. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight because these tragedies, they're just getting nuts. This is what happens when the division is so bad in this country that people that are mentally unstable and believe what a politician says. This is why we have the problems we have. But good job, politicians. Like I say, once we start holding them accountable, cops accountable, mayors accountable, governors accountable, start holding people that are supposed to have the authority, start holding them accountable, maybe things will change for the average person. Anyway, YouTube, I had to waste about 30 seconds here. YouTube's really hard on my channel because they don't want the truth out. Okay, the only place they want, YouTube would sit there and destroy itself so it could bring in and usher in their complete control. And then they could just start up their new channel and it'd be like Russian TV back in the Soviet Union days. Ever watch that stuff? Or East German TV? The absolute propaganda they tried to push. But anyway, you people in the city, okay, let's get on the subject right away. I don't wish this, but if all this stuff, that terrible stuff that's happening to people in this country, that Ukraine woman, my God, she gets on a bus after a shift. I guess she worked at a pizza place, sits down, gets on her phone, and the black guy behind her stabs her in the neck. Okay? Anybody realize in the big city you're not safe? Do you think the cops are going to be there to protect you? Hell no. The mayor's in there stroking them, telling them what they can and can't do. By the way, this is getting completely out of control. If I would have saw that piece of shit would have went down right with her. Deader than a door fucking nail. It's time we need to get the mentality like we had about terrorists after 9/11. You ain't going to take over this plane. We're going to bum rush you. But anyway, living in a big city. Like I say, it's not the crook you got to worry about. It's the guy who's suffering from mental illness. If you're walking down the streets that crazy who wants to shove a syringe in you and put a bunch of garbage in you or slam you full of gasoline, light you on fire and stuff. Hey, Bambi, how's it going? Hey, Tom, glad you liked the video. It means a lot. Yeah, it means a lot to me. I love that video. And having the flag in there, you can see YouTube doesn't like when you put flags in videos and stuff. Anyway, it's time to take our country back. And you too, Bambi? Make sure you got your fucking eye on in the back of your head. I'm telling you, it's time you strong women start taking these fucking beta males down. But you got to be on your guard all the time, people. All the time. You can't let it down whatsoever. Like me out here. Okay? Come out here, you little bastards. Come out here and try that shit out here. You know what you're going to get? You're going to put down like a mad fucking coyote. Exactly. That's what we're going to do. Put you the fuck down. Solve the goddamn problem. All I know is there's a dead woman now because some black guy who was mentally deranged acted out like the Democrats wanted them to. And now I'm sure, it just gives Trump another reason to put troops in Charlotte now, doesn't it? Be crazy out there. Got to have 7 inches minimum to speak to me. I tell you what, these fucking beta males. I mean, then these politicians like that Tim Kaine is going to sit there and say that government grants us rights. You mean that fucking beta male is going to sit there and tell me that I need to give up my guns and his pussy ass is going to protect me? Okay, I'm a Sigma male. I know different. I'm sick of seeing these victims. That was somebody's daughter. Got out of Ukraine to get out of that shithole that Zelensky's causing, and then had to come to a country where she can't even get off work and be safe. Didn't even know it was coming. Nobody steps in, right? Well, that's right. After the New York thing, and that Marine sit there taking down that piece of shit that want to harm people who accidentally killed them. Oh, you can't protect people anymore. You got to become a victim. Who the hell out there is going to become a victim? I know I'm not going to become a victim. I'm not going to be a victim of these politicians or some crazy psychotic that's listening to them. Is it morning for you? No, it's not. I am in the Panhandle, Nebraska, United States. Hey, J99, appreciate you being here. You too, Bambi. I tell you what, I appreciate all my moderators, especially when these trolls come in hard. We need to take our country back, people. We have our women, college students. God. Okay, I'm not a woman, right? But all I know is if I was, and some guy tried raping me, I'd have thumbs and eyeballs, pulling his eyeballs out. You're going to get killed anyway. Cut his fucking nuts off. Do unto others as they want done unto you, flat out. He wants to kill you, kill them. And then they want to take away our Second Amendment. The equalizer, right? Every woman needs to carry a gun. Not this fucking bear spray, not mace, not a tactical pen, a fucking gun. You know, a little stub 32 or 38. And just unload the goddamn clip in these sons of bitches. The only way this is going to stop is if Americans start standing up for themselves. If we stop this shit from happening. Yeah, it's going to be always, I'm going to bite. Bambi, not all of us are blessed. I wish Impeach was here right now. I tell you what, we could really have a good one going here. But even where Impeach lives, they're in Jacksonville, North Carolina, at the military town. I can't imagine how much that's changed since I've been there last. But this is not right. And then you got the mayor of Charlotte, like they always do, never blame the guy who did it. It's all these other exterior causes that cause it. But it's not the politicians that are dividing us. That's not what's causing it. Mental illness. Yep. Now another innocent woman had to deal with mental illness. All I know is if this would have been a white guy that did this to a black woman, what do you think the narrative would be? This country's out of control. I don't know how. I live out here, not around people. I'm so glad I don't live around people. Because if I lived in a big city, I'd probably be in prison right now for defending myself. Because you think I'd take that shit? No, you're going down, bitch. I once had an employer when I was getting messed with at work, and I went to go defend it myself. And, it just got to the employer, and he goes, well, you can't use that stuff you learned in the Marine Corps against these guys. I said, why the fuck not? Maybe you shouldn't mess with a combat Marine. Maybe that's the smartest choice there. Yeah, people suck. Hey, Bambi, I used to live in Iowa once. I hear you live in Iowa. I used to live down there by the Minnesota border by Rake, Iowa and stuff, in farming country. And that's still isolated and desolated. I mean, out here, if you had, those problems are taken care of. Like you say, you come into our area, a county of less than 2,000 people, and start creating problems, acting weird, being stupid, you're going to be taken care of. All right? It's just amazing we don't have that problem in small town. Well, I'm not saying all small towns, but we just don't have that problem. We don't have a homeless problem. We don't have homeless in this county. Okay, because everybody here has a job, has a life, realizes that they're responsible for themselves. I'm from South Central by DSM and Missouri, and now I'm up by Nebraska. I tell you what, I live out here in the Panhandle. We like to call it Eastern Wyoming, because let's just say that we don't have the same mindset as Omaha and Lincoln have. You know, the reason we're having these problems is because the policies that our politicians have put into practice, have put into effect. Breaking the laws and the Constitution. I mean, I was just wondering if this would have been done by a knife, would they be screaming gun control? You know, I'm so sick and tired of these murderers, sickos, being called the victim. Okay, it's Mega's fault. It's Mega's fault, right? Mega's just got this guy all riled up and stuff. And I'm in Bayard by Panora, Lake Panora. Okay. I have to look that up where that's at once. It looks beautiful there, Tom. I know, look at that. Shoot, I'm covering up the sunset tonight. Let me get rid of that. Just a second, guys. Hold on. Well, why can't I get this right? Why can't I get this right? There it is. There. We got the sunset. Takes a Marine a little while longer sometimes. I tell you what, when I was in the Marine Corps, I heard all the Marine Corps jokes. All the services have jokes for Marines. Yeah, well, I know why. Because we're the few and the proud. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You know, a innocent victim got taken, so they can't see a sunset like this. You know, this may be a desolate area. We may not have Starbucks. You may have to drive 50 miles or 60 miles to go to a Walmart. But you know what? You'll know you'll make it there, back, and safe. You know, I guess the Walmarts we go to, a few times I do go, yeah, they could be shot up. You know, that situation ever happens when I'm in there, it's not going to be good. Like I say, I react. I run at bullets. I don't run from them. But this guy did it with a knife. I can't even, I got daughters and I got granddaughters. Okay, live up in Minnesota. They go to that, remember in St. Cloud where that guy, it was years ago, that Muslim or whatever started slicing people in the St. Cloud Mall there in Minnesota? That's the mall my kids go to. The thing is, when somebody attacks with a knife, I just saying, if somebody were to go into Walmart with a knife and try to start slicing people, you know, the first thing I would do is pick up the first thing I could find and crack them over the head with it. And if they die, oh well. You know, if you die in the progression of making a crime, well, that's what happens to stupid people. But, you know, this government isn't going to be happy unless we're all victims. They want to make us all victims. You know, the Canadian Prime Minister said, if somebody breaks into your house, cooperate with them until the police get there. Aren't we animals? Isn't it part of animal instinct to, if you get cornered, to fight? I mean, really, even in the Marines, things have changed. Oh, I know. Like I say, I went in when Reagan was in office. And the thing is, in the Marine Corps, right? I went in, I enlisted in 85, went to boot camp in 86, right? And then I enlisted again, did did another term, and then they did the force reductions, and I got caught in that, and it didn't matter. But my colonel was asking me, he goes, and this was in 1993, okay? He asked me, he goes, I'm going to Headquarters Marine Corps. What message would you like to give me to Headquarters Marine Corps? And this is what I said back in 1993. Stop making the Marine Corps such a pussified unit. It was getting soft way back then. Too soft for me. Okay? I go Doberman and a few other things. I got a Doberman. Yeah. First line of security. I did a video on your lines of security. And your first line, obviously, which I consider is space. Okay? Lots of space out here. Okay? See? Even when the government decides to come get me, the FBI comes rolling down the road, I'll see him coming. And I tell you, it's going to be one. I've already apologized to my landlord for the bullet holes that are going to be in his house. But, you know, they ain't going to come out here. I see YouTube's really cracking down on my live stream again. Boy, they just hate my channel. We need to get the truth out, people. I mean, I'm not going to become a victim. My kids aren't going to become a victim because of these crazy insanity pieces of shit. It's amazing. None of these politicians' kids ever get hurt, do they? None of them. They're never affected by it. And then they start these wars. None of these politicians' kids ever have to go to war. They're exempt from it. And like I say, when they start this war and start the draft, who do you think's going to get drafted first? The black man? Oh, no. He's the useful idiot they're using to take over this country. They're going to get rid of the people that could stop them from taking over this country. I'm glad my daughter knows how to defend herself. Yep. I'm telling you, women too. Not only carry a gun, but you need to take hand-to-hand combat courses, actually. Take some form of martial arts. For a woman, judo would be extremely good. Why? See, the thing is in karate, with your punches and kicks, okay, I've sparred against women, and they were good, but they're not a man. But judo, because a man's going to grab you, okay, and you need to know when he's grabbed you, how you can take him to the ground and fucking make him wish he'd never done that. Judo would be best for you women. Because against a highly motivated male who's pumped up, frankly, your punches and kicks ain't going to do shit, okay? It's not Hollywood. Now, I'm not saying these beta males you kick the shit out of, but it's usually beta males that aren't harming you, okay? It's actual animalistic, I wouldn't even call them alphas. They're just animals. And they got the adrenaline and the testosterone going at the time. A judo and a gun, all right? And when a guy attacks you, kill them. You know why you kill them? Not only do they want to kill you, you're preventing it from him getting out of jail, you going to jail because you probably asked for it, and then him doing it to somebody else. I mean, I'm surprised that CNN hasn't come out and said that this woman in Charlotte was asking for it. She was asking to get killed. That's how silly all this shit is. I'm just sick and tired of seeing people being victims. You know, me living out here, I could do something about it. Women, don't walk alone in these big cities. If you don't have a gun or whatever, don't be walking alone. Get a nice big teddy bear, you know, one of these big guys that is 6'4", 300 pounds and just a big teddy bear that would totally rip somebody apart if they tried hurting you. That would be a good friend to have, because it isn't the cops. It definitely isn't your politicians in your city. Like I say, the mayor's coming up with anything they can say except, yeah, this guy was a murderer. They didn't even use the word murder. It's like the Minnesota transgender fruitcake. It's everybody else's fault except his. Bad time. Hey, Strictly Cycling. Am I asking to be killed riding in traffic? Maybe, but okay, I'll tell you. Personally, I don't like wearing a seatbelt, but seeing how other people drive, that's why I wear a seatbelt. Now out here, a lot of times I don't go in town and stuff, like say small town. But definitely if I go out on the highways or, I wear a seatbelt. If I go more than just to town, I wear a seatbelt. If I'll go to town without the seatbelt, and then when I leave town, I'll put my seatbelt on. No way. At least with my truck, I got a little protection. It's solid metal, and it'll run over one of these cars that try to hit me. But yeah, Strictly Cycling. You still got to be careful too. They don't care who the victim is. But I mean, you live in New York, you got to see them walking down the street every day. People that are loose cannons, people that would make me extremely nervous because of where I live, to where you just take it, nothing to worry about. I don't know that level of looking at somebody that's lost their mind and realize, well, they ain't to that point yet. But anyway, just another tragedy. And then they bring up racism. Okay, so but it's not black racism against a white person. It's white racism against a black person that caused this, right? And then they're Democrats saying, well, there's too many cameras everywhere and the video gets out. Well, you sons of a bitches want the surveillance state. You want cameras everywhere, in our bedrooms, our bathrooms, everything. And then you sit there and get video of something you don't want everybody to see, and then we got too many cameras. Just like in Denver, Colorado years ago. This was back in the teens, right? When they were putting all these stoplight cameras in. So if you're running a red light, boom, they get your license plate and send you a ticket. Well, then the city was bitching that nobody was running the stoplight and they weren't getting the money from that. I don't know how stupid you have to be in government, but I know. Imagine that J99. What do you think the military's like? The military's always advanced far, at least 5 to 10 years, get above the civilian world. So what's it like in the service, J99? As your daughter said, they got cameras everywhere there. We need to take our country back for the safety of everybody. Now I wonder what would have happened instead of being a white Ukrainian woman. Let's say that would have been like the perfect dad from Maryland that the Democrats didn't want deported from this country. And they went down to El Salvador to pick him back up. What if he would have been the victim? What would have happened then? Would there have been an outrage? Tell you what, I can't wait till that shit comes out here. We'll settle it real goddamn quick. They ain't gonna bring danger out here. I'll tell you what, I'll rope them, drag them into a branding pit, and put a nice big brand on their ass. Nice big brand on their ass. There's my Zaya. Tell you what, I've been back for 7 months and I already lost 2 of my dogs. I need to get a German Shepherd because that's, my first line of security is my space. Okay. Hey, yeah, sub guys, I appreciate it because whatever we can do to get the word out, I'm not afraid of it to say it. Think I'm afraid of some crazy? You think I'm afraid of a beta male politician or their alpha males that become their bitches? You think I'm scared of those fuck sticks? Absolutely not. I got training and everything from explosives to how to shoot a gun real good. And far beyond that, the FBI comes to my door, they're going to understand what war is. It's not going to be some piece of shit betas coming after some weak victim. I don't give a shit. Like I say, we're going to have a shootout at my place and I'm going to end up dying. I'm going to take as many of those motherfuckers with me as I can. Because in the Declaration, in the Independence, they're infringing on my rights. I don't do nothing wrong. And my freedom of speech is not a reason to come and shoot me down. But if you're going to come and try to shoot me down because of my freedom of speech, that gives me all the authority in the world to protect myself with extreme prejudice. It's not my fault the government turned me into what they teach me to do: kill people and blow shit up. That's what they taught me. And what they teach me to? They taught me to hate communists and terrorists. And to defend the Constitution with my life if necessary. They're not gonna come, but if you make threats, that's not a threat, that's a promise. That's a fucking promise. I will defend my Constitution in this country just as well as I did overseas. That's a promise to these fucking beta males. A threat? A threat? Story Strictly Cycling. How about when they threaten us? We do nothing. They're allowed to just threaten us. The government grants us our rights. Remember Tim Kaine? The government grants us our rights. The government's going to find out whose authority is granted to them by who. Okay? I don't give a shit. This Marine's had enough. Whatever it takes to get the shit. We're never going to get the ball rolling until somebody pushes the fucker. Okay? I don't care. That attitude you had when you were growing up in North Dakota, milking those cows in the morning? That attitude? The things that made you tough? No way these fucking pussies are going to do shit to me. Like I say, if I won't... See, eventually, they're going to have to deal with us. Because there are some of us that are not going to bend or break. So what are they going to do? They're eventually going to have to deal with us. So why don't we bring it on right away? If the government got to come out here and shoot me down for what I say, then it says it's the truth. Okay? If I got to be a martyr, so be it. I've lived 5 lifetimes, and this is number 6. Get my country back. Like I say, I don't care what political affiliation is, what you do in your bedroom, or none of that shit. You're an American that's going to be a victim of this goddamn shit, just like me. You may just be one of those people that go to a camp after me. But anyway, we have to deal with their technology that watches. I know. But they have to deal with my attitude, sir. And they have to deal with my determination. And they have to deal with I'm just not going to take this shit no more. See, if you're willing to die for what you believe in, that's the only thing they're going to be able to do to stop you. And if you're in that position, you got to accept that if I'm going to live by the sword, I'm going to have to die by the sword. And I realize they come out here with 20 people. Oh, well, life's a bitch. But I'm not going to be intimidated by the pieces of shit. You can just ask the sheriff in my county now. Believe me, when the FBI comes here, they got to go through him. And he may say, hey, maybe you guys just don't want to do this. Maybe just let me go out and talk to him, and I'll get this settled. But you go out there, people are going to die. Is that wrong for me to sit there and say I will not be oppressed by my government? That I will be independent and free, and I'm not going to take this shit. This is how bad it's got in this country. I don't care. Because you think I'm going to live another 40 years in this shit? Are you out of your mind? I mean, you Strictly Cycling, you're in good shape. That's good. Because in 15 years when you're not, and you start needing medical attention just like me, well, then we don't have any use in this country anymore. They're not going to use any, help us out at all because we're a burden on the system. Even though all these people are burdens on the system now, it's not going to be like it is now. For one thing, we aren't going to have the money. And 15 years from now, what do you think we're going to be totally taken over by foreigners. Amnesty, amnesty, amnesty. Anyway, but these are everything that's happening in this country with these murders. It's just a result of political policies. It doesn't matter what party it is. This time I'd be off the grid in a year and a half. Yep. You'll be off the grid in a year and a half. Well, that's good. Hopefully, okay, I'm gonna, if I have to die to stand up for what I believe in, I'm a Marine. Like I say, I don't expect the average civilian to understand that mindset. And I don't expect you to embrace it either, okay? You aren't a product of my experiences, but I am. Okay, and we can see how it's getting worse and worse. I mean, we have troops in the streets in our cities now. In the United States of America, basically have peacekeepers in our streets. Like we send peacekeepers to other countries. I mean, this isn't getting any better. And you got Trump, his narcissistic personality has just gotten worse. I mean, changing the Department of War without doing it properly, just because he wanted to. In our country, the Constitution is set up to make sure that politicians are not allowed to do something just because they want to, especially the president. But, yep, I'm going off grid, gonna walk the Appalachian Trail and decide where off. Oh, you're gonna walk the whole trail. I've watched videos about that. So, anyway, that'd be a great time. One end of that trail is here in Maine. Hey, J99, did you ever hear the Allagash incident with the 4 guys that went up to the Allagash there in Maine in, what was it, 75 or 76, and got picked up by aliens? I think that's a really interesting story, but that is some beautiful country up there. See? Do you think in the Allagash they got to worry about that shit? Our cities are falling apart, crumbling apart. No more morality in it. Like I say, the other side goes by morality before reality. And they think they're so smart by saying that, okay? So the Minnesota shooter, his morality ruled his reality, and then when he had to face real reality, he shot up a school. The trail extends from Georgia to Maine and about 2,000 miles long and goes through 14 states. Are you going to mountain bike that thing? Is that what you're going to do? Oh my God, that'd be a fun time. That would be a fun time. Of course, I'm out here west. Excuse me. I'm here out west and stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of lovely things out there, but the Appalachian Trail, I was there in North Carolina and actually dated a girl from Boone, North Carolina once, went skiing in the mountains up there and stuff, but the Appalachians, that's a nice place, okay? So this is another place that our country is eventually going to destroy. But there's danger on the Appalachian Trail too. There's people, you're walking it. Oh my, how long you going to take off to do that? 3 or 4 months? I suppose you walk it, find where you want to live. Boy, strictly cycling, you're starting to sound like me every day. Well, you know what? Would you rather be alone and safe or be surrounded by people where you got to constantly watch? I got to make sure I sit down against the wall. I mean, that's another thing. You're on a bus or a subway, Make sure you take where you can see the whole car. Sit where you can see the whole car. And don't fall asleep and don't be on your phone. How many people are going to have to die over this senseless shit? The morality of this country is down the drain. I mean, with all the pharmaceutical peoples are on, we're the sickest people in the world, I would say. We're the most heavily medicated. Does that sound like a healthy people? Anyway, you know, like I say, Strictly Cycle, you got to go through that first military checkpoint. Don't worry, military come in New York, take care of all the crime. Okay? And then we're going to have our first Boston Massacre situation one of these days. And that'll look good. Okay? And then Trump can just say, well, that's the way it is these days. Crazy time, crazy time. Anyway. And then you're not allowed to have the truth get out. You know, years ago, 10 years ago on YouTube, somebody could start up a channel and their channel would just grow, especially if they're talking about what people wanted to hear. And now people want to hear this, but the algorithm, phew. I tell you what, after Oliver Anthony came out with that song and it went completely viral that fast, a simple man made his point, and the politicians, even though they ignored it, they heard it, that the American people were making fun of them. They changed the algorithm so that will never happen again. Okay, it's amazing that a liberal piece of shit or can't come up with a video that goes viral like that. I mean, what are you going to say? I am for men being women. I am for litter boxes in classrooms. All I know is that they want to sit there and give this gun control with all this violence going on. Don't become a victim, people. Like you say, you'd rather sit there and be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And these animals need to be destroyed. And that's what they are. They're animals. Destroy them. Public execution. This guy who did this in Charlotte should be publicly hung in the town square. On YouTube, pay-per-view. Publicly hang him. This is what happens when you're an asshole. Okay? And maybe you do it so his neck don't break, so he hangs there and dangles for a couple minutes and chokes to death. I know, isn't that just evil to say? But I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be a victim of these crazy, stupid fucks and I'm not going to be a victim of our government. At all. And this is just something these beta males are going to have to accept. If they want to shut me up, well, then they're going to have to take my life. Oh, well. You know, I know there's heaven. And these people will be judged. You know, no tyrants ever live forever, have they? And no tyrants' administrations ever last forever, has it? History just keeps repeating itself. Keeps repeating itself. You get this tyrant that comes in, hey, I got a better way of doing it this time. I can control everybody and convince them that I'm doing it for their own sake and making them better and stuff. You know, especially these days when people never got an education. Tom, the only way to get out from under there is to get off grid. Yeah, exactly. And like I say, you know, you guys have seen my picture behind. I ain't doing my live stream upstairs because it's such a beautiful night out. But yeah, I will be off grid. It doesn't matter. Pretty soon everybody's gonna be off grid. I mean, our grid can't handle the electric flow we got now. I mean, something's gonna bring this country down. I don't know what it is yet. Obviously, the straw that breaks the camel's back hasn't been put on the camel yet, but it's coming. Boy, it's getting dark out already. Woo! Can everybody see me out there? Sonny, good to see ya. Good evening, Tom Cycling and everything. Hey, Tom, check out the comment I just left after live. As a really solid dude, you guys would get along great, and gonna tell him to check these lives. Hey, not a problem. Anything to help get the word out. Like I say, all these social media platforms that silence us and try to think like, I'm only talking to myself or I'm only talking to 10 or Jesus only needed 12 people too, by the way, YouTube. But I'm only talking to the 12 people that are going to make a difference. So it's like nobody agrees with us, right? Everybody either, well, liberals and MAGA don't agree with each other, and there's 50% in the middle. You know, I know there's lots of people out there that want to hear what I have to say because they're not. A lot of people are scared of the government. Okay? A lot of people give in to a bully. And some of us don't. You know, when I was in elementary, I got picked on so bad and I beat the shit out of so many goddamn bullies. I don't get bullied no more. Okay? It's not going to happen. And I'm not going to have the government just because they say they're my government and they have the right to come in because on this piece of paper the judge signed. Fuck that. The judge? The corrupt justice system we have? Somebody signed a paper and said it's okay to sit there and go kill him? Well, we'll arrest him. I ain't that stupid. I know what's coming. And I'll deal with these people accordingly. Just like they want to deal with me accordingly. Remember, they are my enemy and I am their enemy. And in war, you want to kill your enemy. So they're perfectly justified to want to kill me because I'm their enemy. The American patriot is now an enemy of the United States of America. Everybody understand that? And pretty soon they'll label us as a terrorist. Rights come from government. Oh boy, I tell you what, Tim Kaine, you piece of shit. And kids are property of the state. Really, Tim Kaine? Oh, you piece of shit. See, that's just the Democrats. But the MAGAs, hey, we have troops in the street, everything's fine. The lists don't exist, that's just fine. We believe ya. And then if you disagree with that, we don't need you, and you believe in a hoax and stuff. I didn't put the laughy face on. That was not funny. I'm sorry, Sonny. I missed it. Sonny, I'm a Yankees fan. Well, I'm doing great. I did my live stream on yesterday. Not my live stream, but my video on Sunday afternoons, the way it used to be watching football. Guy used to be a football nut. Sundays was football. If I didn't watch it on TV, I listened to it on the radio. Okay? So now I guess I find other things to do on Sunday. Because I can't watch a bunch of politicians running up and down the field. And I'm definitely not going to watch a bunch of flaming homosexuals be cheerleaders. The government will just subsidize the NFL, right? By the way, yeah. Sonny, my baseball team is the Minnesota Twins, right? 1987, when they went to the World Series, I wasn't able to watch it because I was over on ship at the time, overseas on ship. And they would come out like we get 3 games results at one time and stuff. It was great to see them on. But 1991, I did get to watch them win the World Series. I did like that. So, but, you know, baseball is something I enjoy watching. You know, Saturday. I mean, I watched Muhammad Ali fight Leon Spinks on CBS on a Sunday night when I was a kid on regular television. Muhammad Ali lost. But yeah, nowadays everything's it's all about the money. Can't watch a football game, can't watch a baseball game. So I listen to a lot of my baseball when I do listen to it on the radio. Because out here, anyway. Okay. Hey, yep. See you, J99. But anyway, times are crazy. Okay, and the American citizen, it's time to rise up. Are you going to become a victim first? Are you going to allow a family member to become a victim? Your sister, your mother, your wife, your daughter. And I love all these people say, I would never fight or harm anybody. So you're telling me if you see somebody that's about to shoot your kid, you would do nothing about it? See, that's mentally strange. Because when somebody's hurting somebody you love, especially your children, you should turn into a mama grizzly bear immediately. Immediately. So, anyway, I've been going for about 45 minutes. It's getting a little dark out here. So I'm going to have to rock and roll. But anyway, I appreciate my moderators being here. Like I say, I appreciate you guys so much. You know, you can just tell when some of my live stream gets going. You know, my channel is going to start growing again. Like I say, maybe when I have 5,000 videos out there, I mean, there's just going to be so much to flood it with the algorithm ain't going to be able to do nothing about it, or they're going to have to spend half their money in YouTube silencing me. But every single time they got to use that algorithm power to silence me, that's when somebody else gets through. And if all of us people that disagree what the hell's going on in this country would start a channel, there's no way the algorithm could block 2 million channels all saying the same shit in a week. They couldn't do it. Anyway, but I'm gonna get out of here. I'll put out more content tomorrow. I had a lot of stuff I had to do today. Some days I get real busy out here and stuff. Plus I got some wood cut because I'm sure I'll be cranking up the wood burning stove here in the morning a few times. It's amazing. It was the end of May. I was still wearing long underwear. Actually, the first couple days in June, when I was up fencing there in the northern Nebraska in the pastures, I was wearing long underwear in the mornings in June. And it's going to be probably less than a month, and I'll be wearing long underwear again. Whew. But you know what? I like winter too. So at least with winter, we don't have to worry about the crazies getting out and, you know, they can't be uncomfortable physically. So anyway, yep, crazy world we live in. Be safe, Sonny. Be safe. Have that third eye. And like I say, if you got to pull the trigger, make sure you kill the motherfuckers. One round right through the chest. Okay? That's what's going to come down to, people. The war is coming. And, you know, always people that say, oh, my kids, I don't want them in the military, or I should have joined the military. I say, you don't worry. I said, you're going to get plenty of time to protect your country right here. The time's coming where everybody's going to understand what military service is and protecting your country. But anyway, everybody have a great night. YouTube, thank you for promoting my live stream. Appreciate it. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.